area as I speak. And once that boat is docked and the disembarking process has begun, we can start that boarding process. And our ETA for boarding looks to be about 3:50.
You were yawning, I saw it. What's your name? What is it? Dream? Really? What's your name? Audrey? What's your name? You guys know each other? Is this your sister? There you go. This is good. Where are you from? Wisconsin. Oh, that explains the yawning. It's going to be fun. You want to blow the horn when we leave? You sure? Audrey, you want it? Why, you're too cool. How old are you? I'll explain everything. Jackson? Is that what it is? Is that your name?
Jackson.
Yeah, whoa. See that smile on his face? The power that came over when he heard his voice in the microphone? Why? I'm Paul. I'm your boat captain guy. And I've worked here for 46 years. Can I get a big round of applause for him?
Hey. Yay, Captain Paul.
Hooray for being old. Let's go. Of course you can shake my hand. Where are you? Where are you? Yes, I'm still breathing. See? Proof of life right there. Anyway, so I'm just gonna. This is what you call a captive audience because they can't go anywhere because you're trapped here on the boat with me. We've got a great crew for you here today. Our amazing, talented deckhand, incredible artist, world traveler, Olympic caliber boat, brand new 1987, was my 10-year high school reunion. I had brown hair and one chin at the time.
Ferry off to the right-hand side. And if you guys look off to the left-hand side, that's going to be also known as the port side. You're going to see that very large cruise ship leaving. We won't be able to see that in a few minutes, so I'm pointing that out. And I'll talk a little bit more about like our cruise season a little bit later on. But this is about the time of the day when all of our cruise ships that are in port for the morning tend to leave. Now, a few of you visiting here from other places, and I'm really curious where everyone is from here. So show of hands, who's visiting from other parts of the West Coast? Like California, Oregon, other parts of Washington? Yeah? All right. What about Alaska? Anybody visiting from Alaska? Canada? Up those northern areas? Ooh, fantastic. And what about East Coast visitors? Do we have East Coast visitors? I just put sunscreen on and now this bee loves me. What about Midwesterners? Any Midwesterners? All right, fantastic. South or Southwest portion of the country? Any of those? All right. So far we've got all the bases covered. What about international travelers? Anybody visiting from international waters? All right, fantastic. Well, that's wonderful. Thanks for joining us here in Seattle today. We've actually just pulled out of Pier 55, which has been our home dock for many years here. We've been operating actually for about 75 years. Right or starboard side of the vessel. So you're going to hear me talk about that for the next few minutes. He would tell stories along the way. People loved it. They would often ride the boat back to hear more of his stories, so that water taxi service morphed into Argosy Cruises, which we're known as today. So that's a real quick rundown of our history as a company. First building I'm going to point out is one of my favorites here, and it's about to become just newly expanded as well. Is going to be Pier 59 over on the starboard side, our Seattle Aquarium here. It's this dark green building with the white trim windows. In just a few seconds here, we're going to see part of their expansion, which is called the Ocean Pavilion. The Ocean Pavilion is a massively cool kind of half-dome wooden and glass structure that has a 10,000 gallon tank inside. Inside of that tank is going to be things like sharks and rays and about 3,000 different fish species as well as plant life, all kind of highlighting an area of the world called the Coral Triangle. But the Seattle Aquarium is also known as a research and education facility, and that Ocean Pavilion, which you can see right now over to the right just behind this green building there, that's going to be has a very vintage look. It was actually built in 1962 for a World's Fair that same year. That Seattle World's Fair drew about 9 million people to our city. It was quite popular. People coming here for that World's Fair, big numbers, and the Edgewater was hoping that a lot of them would stay at their hotel, but unfortunately 0 people stayed. It was traveling from England. It was their third stop in Seattle for their U.S. tour, and this was 1964, so I'm sure you guys can guess what band that was. It's probably going to be fixed up and kind of dedicated and stored more in the Museum of History and Industry, which is over in the South Lake Union neighborhood. If you guys are looking to see a lot of Seattle history from back in the day, including the Space Needle, the World's Fair, and all that good stuff, that Museum of History and Industry in the South Lake Union neighborhood.
You should come up here and shoot from up here.
Sure.
Up on the hillside to the right there, you can see those three.
Thank you.
It's way more interesting.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, there we go. This is my helper helping me drive the boat right now.
Yeah.
Here, go. Now, reach down, hold this thing for a second. Hold this right here. And then, let's see, now push it this way. Now, let go. Now watch the entire boat. It's going that way. Ah!
Okay.
Where are you from?
Originally from Kazakhstan.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Welcome,
from
welcome.
Houston. It's so hot there. So.
Oh, God, this is way better. That's a cute little camera there. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Those are actually homes for
Where's, oh, that's one of the Osmo ones, so it's a nice steady
Osmo
cam.
Pocket, yeah.
Nice.
So that's how you turn.
Yeah, this is my compass, these are my throttles, my radar.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to, every once in a while I have to interrupt you because this is what I do.
Is somebody in the way?
No, I just wanted to honk horn.
Okay.
I was getting it on video. All right, watch your step.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Released into the waters there, and hopefully grow big and strong here. And that is, those beans are managed by a couple of our co-sailors.
Just me.
help of the Duwamish people. And so they wanted to name the city after the leader. The leader of the Duwamish people, his name was Chief Self. So they wanted to name the city after that chief. So what they did is they changed his name a little bit because it was a little bit challenging for them to say. And they changed the name from Chief Self to Chief Seattle, and that is how we got our name as a city. So we're named after the chief or tribal leader of the Duwamish and Squamish people. The Duwamish people, like I mentioned, are recognized as the first peoples of Seattle, not federally recognized, but most of us that have lived here recognize them as the very first settlers. If you want to learn a little bit more about the Duwamish people, West Seattle over to your right has their cultural house. It's the Duwamish Longhouse and Cultural Center, and inside that building you can learn all about the rich history of the Duwamish people and their connection to this land since time immemorial. All right, well, I'm back on the mic because now we are down at the southern portion of the bay. Off to the right, you guys see that waterway with that little boat exiting towards us there? That is the western portion of where the Duwamish River feeds into Elliott Bay, bringing with it fresh water, lots of fish, so keep your eyes open for wildlife. This tends to be an area where a lot of that wildlife, especially like fish, love to hang out. Down here as well is the home to Bigger Shipyards. Bigger Shipyards is the largest shipbuilding and repair company on the West Coast, and they're working on some vessels here in their dry docks. The one that's wrapped up in white, they can't see any of it there. That is the number 52 USS Barry. That's a Navy vessel, guided missile destroyer. It's their largest destroyer in their fleet. We can't really see it right now because it's being worked on. To the left of that, one of our Washington State ferries up on those keel blocks. To the left of that, out area where they are nesting. I saw the baby in the nest earlier. It's not quite ready to fledge, but it's flapping its wings, getting ready. So almost ready to leave the nest, and that's probably the two parents there. These osprey actually like to nest on these very flat lights here. They're not like eagles at all. Eagles will nest in giant trees, but osprey, they actually like to nest on things like stadium lights, very flat structures. They'll take sticks, pile it up, and then they'll nest on top of it. You can see it circling right above us here. Two nice looks, and then it looks like way up above there's a couple more, but those might be gold. So osprey, they are a very specialized eater. They only eat fish. They don't eat anything else. And everything about them is designed to catch that fish. So they will nest in areas close to the water, and they will only grab fish that's close to the surface. So that means after summertime, when the water gets cold here, what happens is the fish go much deeper and the osprey are not able to get them, so that's why they leave our toes to do that. They also have membranes on their eyes that shut down. Once they hit the water, the membranes shut down on their eyes to prevent water from going into their eyes as well as the inside of their nose. So everything about them is geared towards hunting fish in the water. Off to our right-hand side here and left, you can see massive container ships and these giant white gantry cranes here. These giant white gantry cranes are really some of the largest cranes you're going to see in the world. They're built in a very special place called Crane Island over in China, and they are actually welded about 3 across this size to a ship. That ship will come over here. Once it's ready to offload, they'll just roll these giant cranes onto the dock. They actually don't disassemble them and reassemble them. They just roll them off as you see them. Once they're on the dock, they can actually move them around the dock pretty easily because all these cranes, if you get a chance to look at the bottom, they're on a set of wheels. So they can kind of place them where they need to kind of move these kind of containers around on these massive ships. We have the Seattle Express ahead of us, and we have the Moderation just to the right of us here. Both of these ships, about
off the port side, just off the port bow. Since the
Okay,
water's so
left.
calm for the folks you
Yeah,
filming,
yeah.
you can see him under the water. Look, he's right in front
Oh,
of it.
yeah, look at that.
Right up here.
Smaller side usually, but always a nice treat to see them. They can be about 800 to 1,000 pounds, so they get pretty large and about 8 feet in sizes. The loading of these ships is much faster, much more economic, and that really changed things. And it was a truck driver who decided to have this container offloaded off of the back of his truck, put directly onto the ship. The United Nations put the 3 sizes into place in the 1960s, and the rest is history. These are the same sizes of containers used all around the world. So you can imagine how many containers there are just on the planet. And a couple pigeon guillemots flying really low over the water to the left there, flapping really fast. Those are those blackbirds I mentioned. They're in the auklet family, which is the same family as puffins. So we get them here throughout the year. And as we make our turn here, off to the right-hand side, you can see all these empty containers, but you guys also might notice a very large brick building with a clock tower and a big American flag flying. Below that American flag is a green set of eyes you guys probably recognize there. That is the headquarters of Starbucks, their international headquarters. Starbucks was established here in 1971, and like I mentioned earlier, the oldest Starbucks is in Pike Place Market. So the osprey nest is going to be, you guys see the lights on the shore here on the left with the red and white stripes below. So pretty soon we're going to have, it won't be the closest one to us, but actually you can see it right now. So if you see there's an osprey directly on this one to the left, just about our, let's see, what would that be, 9 o'clock? You can see a couple lumps. You can see all the sticks hanging down in the middle of the top of the light, not the closest light to us, but that second one back. That is the osprey nest with all the sticks hanging down in the middle. So there's at least a couple birds up there. It looks like 2, maybe 3, and then to the right in the back, see where the white kind of dome is? That light in front of that, there's also a bird up there on that flat light as well. So not a shortage of ospreys to see today. Nice to see them because, like I said, they decided to take a few of these containers and turn them into drive-through cafes. So we're in one of those in the Ballard neighborhood. Containers being used for lots of things these days. It was really Starbucks who kind of started that trend of repurposing these containers after they created the drive-through cafes. It was other businesses that actually started using them for outdoor restaurants. Other businesses are using them to turn into above-ground, below-ground swimming pools. Some people using them for post offices in really small towns. Of course, people can buy these containers online. You can pop a couple of these together, put in a few windows, buy a product, and have yourself a relatively inexpensive home. You might notice there's a lot of words on the side of these containers. This is really the shipping company's logos on the outside. Only a couple people actually know the contents of what's inside most of these containers. That is for security purposes. It's really the sender and receiver that mostly know. I can tell you, all of the containers on the right, though, those are going to be empty. We are more of an import city than an export city, so we have a lot of containers coming in that we offload here, and we end up with a lot of see a couple workers off to the left there on the this very large moderation vessel here. A couple of unique vessels there. We have that white one, which is the Coast Guard cutter. That's the Melon. That one has a small American flag, and oftentimes it also has a Vietnamese flag on the other side. And that's because it's going to be taking off for its new destination, which is Vietnam. It's been sold to that country. They'll join their fleet. First ship is not active. 2 active icebreakers here. Coast Guard, West Coast sector are receiving.
handsome man right here. That guy here. Oh, there we go. We're up to be wonderful. Well, we are coming back to the dock on absolutely a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh my goodness. This day is just getting prettier and prettier and prettier. Flat cone out there on the spray. Oh, it's just absolutely beautiful. So I just wanted to thank you all for coming on behalf of our spectacular crew. We had excellent crew that had as well. And I have to get outside and wait for this boat. So enjoy the rest of your day or your stay here on the Seattle waterfront.
I'm sorry, I thought you have to kick it out of the boat under here.